Hello, everyone. Welcome to the OneNote for Beginners workshop. In case you missed it this past week, today I'm going to show you how to go into Microsoft Office 365 and set up your class notebooks. So as you can see here, first step is open up your favorite web browser, such as Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, or whatever you would like to do. I prefer Chrome. You pop it up and you log into your Office 365 account, whether it's at home or at school. At school is always easier because it logs you in automatically. If you're at home, you do need to log in just like you log in to your email address. Put your email address and then your password for your computer. Once you log in, you'll come to this. This is called the dashboard, and it has all your different apps for Office 365. Well, the one that I want to look at today is called Class Notebook. Now, if you notice, Class Notebook and OneNote have the exact same icon. That's because they are the same program, but Class Notebook does something that OneNote does not do by itself. It allows you to set up individual notebooks for each of your kids. So the first step, as always, is to click the app that we need, which is Class Notebook. So we're going to do that. It will open up a new tab, and when it opens up this tab, you have four options. You have Create a Class Notebook, which is what we're going to be doing, Add or Remove Students, Add or Remove Teachers, and Manage Notebooks. And of course, these three options only work if you already have a notebook created. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to do that. So if I go to Create a Class Notebook, this will be the first thing that comes up on your screen, and it says, what is the name of your class? This is where you just simply title your notebook. When you think of notebook, this is literally what I'm talking about. A notebook, think of a binder with tabs, and in each tab you organize your different subjects or you organize your different content. That's what OneNote's all about. This gives the option to your kids for that. So I'm going to call this, I don't know, Bowden's 5th grade class. All right, so I'm going to click next. That's going to be the title of my binder. And on this section, it kind of tells you what each section does. There are three main sections. You got your collaboration space, your content library, and then your student notebooks. Collaboration space is kind of a cool thing. This is a place where teachers and students can both edit the content. I know that sounds kind of scary, but believe me, it is trackable if anything goes completely wrong, and you can always revert back to an original, and I'll show you guys a little bit about that later on. The content library, this is for teachers only. Teachers can edit the content. This is where you upload your documents. That way students can download them if they need to. They can put them on their computer. They can make marks on this area, but they can't actually modify the original document you put down. So moving on to that, student notebooks, this is their individual notebook, and teacher, we can still edit this. Students can edit his or her own content, but not others' notebooks. So this is just to let you know what you're doing. So click next. When you do that, this is the part where you can give a teacher, another teacher, if you work with a co-teacher or you have a paraprofessional that you would like to show this to, this is a place to do it. I'm going to skip over that part right now because I'm just making a test notebook anyways. So it says, now what are your students' names? Now this is a part where you can do two things. You can have their names already pre-typed out on a Word document. And if you have them already pre-typed out on a Word document, you have to separate them by a semicolon. And I'll show you an example of that. I have a list right here. I'm pulling up a Word document just like this. And as you see, it has all my kids' names. So I wrote their first and last name. And you got to make sure that when you type their names in, it's their original name. Like if they go by a shortened name, such as if you have a child named William or Will, and he goes by Will, but his name is William, you need to put William. And that goes for any other kinds of names. If they go by their middle name, you have to put their first name. So once you do that, all you literally do is you highlight all of their names if they're typed in correctly. And then we're going to copy. You can copy by right-clicking and go to copy, or you can hold Control and hit C. That also does the same job. And I'm just going to minimize that. And here, I just make sure that I hit, you can right-click and hit paste, or you can hit Control V at the same time. And there we go. And as you see, all the names populated automatically, and there's a little X by them, and that means if they're underlined that the person actually exists on here. Now, if I wanted to add someone different that I forgot to put, I know there's one student that I forgot to put because he was new to my class. I would type in his name, and as soon as I start doing that, notice two different names with the same first name pop up. So I want to go ahead and click the one that's mine and go ahead and click next. So now, guess what? I've created all of my student names. So once I do that, now it's going to show me that automatically by default they give you 4 tabs: a handouts tab, a class notes tab, a homework tab, and a quizzes tab. And at this point, if you don't like the names of one of them, you can always uncheck a box. If you want to add an extra one, like you want to have a creation space, or you want to have a problem solving space, or whatever it is you might want, you can always add more tabs. And if you don't want to do this now, you don't know really what to do, you can always do it later on. So it's no big deal. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go to next. I'm going to keep the default. And what this page shows you, this is your preview page. This shows you what the teacher can see. The teacher can see the welcome page, the collaboration space, the content library, and then every single individual kid's notebook. And then when a student logs in, each student will only see the collaboration space, the content library. Collaboration space, they can edit and put stuff. Content library, they can only download from this place. They can't actually take it. So they can't actually, they actually can't mess with anything or ruin any of your original documents or anything like that. And then, of course, you've got the child's name, and then you can see that he can see his handouts tab, his class notes tab, his homework tab, his quizzes tab. Other than that, I mean, that's really all there is to setting it up. So I would click create, and then suddenly you've got this very long process, and I am going to get back to you guys here in just a moment. So while this is creating, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what it looks like when you have a finished notebook. Okay, so now your class notebook is created. This should be the screen that you see. It says your notebook is ready for you. And you have a couple of options. You can either open it in the OneNote application, and that's right now by default is OneNote 2016, and that's something that's going to give you a lot more options than OneNote Online. OneNote Online you can still use, but it's very basic, and I find it to be a whole lot slower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this in OneNote 2016. So I'm going to click on that, and you get an option, open in OneNote 2016 or cancel. Obviously, I'm going to open OneNote 2016. And when I do that, it's going to give me a security notice because I'm actually at home. When you're at school, it does not give you a security notice. I'm going to click yes for this. So when I do that, it is going to open up everything, and it is going to start loading it. And when it starts loading everything, as you see, it will populate. And okay, so now that everything is populated on my OneNote notebook in OneNote 2016, all of my tabs are actually up here at the top on this particular version. And it starts with a welcome page. The welcome page has all these different things where you can watch different videos to learn a little bit more about OneNote. This is something you can definitely do in your free time if you kind of want to have an intro from Microsoft, and it tells you some different things for teachers, for students, and stuff like that. This video is just for telling you how to basically operate everything. So if you look at all these different tabs up here, this is going to be the stuff that you just created. Collaboration space. This is the part where it tells you that this place is open for everyone in the class, and you can use this for all kinds of good stuff. And you can make questions for them. You can have them respond to it. And when they do, it'll tell you who typed it and when they typed it. It timestamps everything for you. So over here, when you get started with new, I would go here and add a new page. If you do that, you can title the page, and maybe you want to give them a project of how do you all feel about OneNote? And when you do that, this will give them a chance to respond. And if you want to give instructions, like maybe you want to say, please respond to this question by typing, I can't type today, your name and answering the question above. Again, I can't type today. And when they do that, they can click anywhere on the screen and they can type their response. And what's going to happen is when they type their response, you're going to see their name populate next to the answer. And it's very cool. And if somebody ever types something that you don't want them to type or something's messed up, you as the teacher can always go in and edit that and delete it. And if they mess something up you typed, which they could in this particular area, there's a really cool tab over here called History. And this is the place where you can go and you can go to page versions. And when you do that, you can, this page versions tab will give you options for that. So, and I'm going to go through all these tabs here in just a minute to show you more about them. Okay, so going back to my tabs here, anytime you need to get out of a tab, this arrow right here is going to take you back to all your main tabs. But that was the collaboration space, a place for students and teachers to make notes, discuss things, and things of that nature. The content library, this is where you're going to start uploading different content. And always there's kind of a welcome page for every tab here. This is the content library. It tells you this is the place where you upload things and things like that. So what I want to do here is maybe I want to make a section over here for each of my subjects. So I'm going to make a section for ELA. I'm going to make a section for math. I'm going to make a section for, let's do spelling, okay? So, and of course I would do science and social studies as well, but I don't want to do too much in this video. So anytime I want to add something, and just kind of go over some different tabs here, I'm going to use the insert tab that's up here. And in the insert tab, I have a couple of options for inserting files. If I insert the file as a printout, it will print the whole page on this page, which is a cool feature if you're looking for kids to edit just on a single page. But if you want to put multiple files, you definitely want to put file attachment. So that's what I'm going to do. So when I do that, it's going to open up a window that's going to let you find the document you want to insert. So I'm going to scroll down and, what if I wanted to put a spelling contract? So I'm going to put a spelling contract here, and it does ask you yet a second time, do you want to do it as a file or as a printout? So I'm going to do this as a file. And when I do it as a file, it pops up just like this. And so then when kids go onto this, after you share it with, you don't even have to share it with them, it automatically goes to them anytime you update this OneNote notebook and they open theirs, they'll see exactly what I'm seeing. They can't actually do anything to your original document here. This is a place where teachers have full control, but they can save this and put it on their own notebook later, which is pretty cool. One thing you could always do if you did want to open this, you could always right click and you could open this, insert this printout. If you do that, this is what it does. It'll say opening attachments, your hardware computer. Just click OK because it's your document. You should know whether or not it's safe. And when this pops up, it'll say insert documents, and click yes on that, and it'll pop up like it's doing something different. But then, if you look, voila, there it is, and it's in the form you want it to be in. But I just want to show you guys that just for fun. So I'm going to undo this. This button up here always undoes it if you don't like the action you just did. So if I undo it, if you notice, it, well, undid more than I wanted it to undo, but that's okay. So you can always redo the particular action as well. So I'm going to get out of this, okay? And then, of course, each of these tabs is all of your kids. And you can always go and push things directly to them, add things for them directly. And this arrow actually shows that I have all my other kids right here. So you can go into any of their notebooks at any time, and you can edit things for them. You can add things for them. You can even grade things. And I'm going to show you a little bit about how to do that now. So looking at these tabs up here, these are your main tabs for the entire program. File tab does what most file tabs do. This is a place where you can make a new notebook if you wanted to from here. You could open another notebook, print, share it with other teachers or students. You could the export function we'll get into later, and this is where you can check your account or offer feedback and options. And we'll just leave it at that for now. So you click the back arrow to get out of that. Okay, so now we're going to check out the Home tab. The Home tab, if you click up here, this is where you're going to do all your cut, copy, and paste part. Format Painter is something you don't want to worry with too much right now, but you can change your font, you can change your font size, bold, italics, just like in Microsoft Word. You can highlight, you can change the color of your text, you can change the format things are in. If you click that, you can change the way the heading looks and things. You can check off items for your to-do list, you can tag things. This is stuff you're going to use more after you create your notebooks and figure out things of that matter, okay? Going to the Insert tab. The Insert tab, I already showed you a little bit about this. You can insert a big spacing here. So if I wanted to, let's say, insert a space between this and this, maybe I want to go to Insert and I click Insert Space. And so what that does is it allows me to draw out how much space I want to do between everything. And it is not behaving for me right now. So, oh, here we go. Now I got it. So maybe I want to drag it and put a space there. And there we go. It allows me to drop down an entire section if I need to. But I don't want to do that right now, so I'm going to undo everything I just did. And back to what I was showing you. Okay, insert a table. This is where you can insert a table just like in Word. You can pick how many rows it is, one row of one, one row of two, two rows of two, whatever you need. Insert file as printout, as I showed you earlier, it inserts the entire document which is pretty cool, especially if you want to draw on it. When I'll show you on the Draw tab in just a minute. File attachment does just the icon. Spreadsheets where you can connect an Excel spreadsheet that you already made. If you had an Excel spreadsheet you wanted to show the kids. Okay, so the screen clipping feature is really cool. It's just like the snipping tool that you have already built on your computer, but it allows you to directly put it into your OneNote notebook. So if I click on screen clipping, let's say that I wanted to get a picture of, I don't know, this Twitter thing. So I would put a box around what I wanted to snip, and automatically it puts it right here, which is pretty cool to do. And I can move it around. I can put it wherever I want on my page. And if I don't want it, if I accidentally chose the wrong thing, I could obviously click the undo button. Well, it's going to undo everything. There we go. All right. So that's the screen clipping tool. Pictures, this particular picture icon will go directly to your computer if you have pictures saved on your computer or an external hard drive. That's what that's for. Online Pictures takes you to a Bing search engine, and you can look up pictures online, and you can even make sure you get copyright-free pictures by clicking the Creative Commons. I'll show you what that looks like. So if you go here, it'll say, please wait while we load pictures. You go to that, and let's say you want to find a picture of, I don't know, a chessboard. And you click that, and there's a little check mark that says Creative Commons only. As long as you leave this check, the kids and you will have copyright-free images, and you can do that without having to purchase anything or give credit to anybody. It's something that's free. If you ever uncheck this, then you're going to be kind of getting into an area where you might get in trouble if you insert a picture based on copyrights. Okay, so going back to insert online video, this is where you can connect to a YouTube video or something. Kids would have to be very much monitored with this if you allowed them to do that. I would not let them do that. I would make sure to control what kind of videos you put on this notebook. And Link does more of everything where you can link to different web pages or files. These two options, record audio or video. If you want to record like a lesson that you were doing in just the audio part while you showed the kids what was going on, that would be a good little thing you could do with that. And record video would actually video what you were doing on here along with a little camera icon, kind of similar to what I'm doing right now for this. I'm using actually a separate program because I'm doing more than just notebook. So this just allows you to record video of what you're doing with the notebook you're on. This shows you the date, time, timestamp parts, and then this allows you to go and check out different page templates. The equation drop-down menu, you can look at different equations. I teach 5th grade. I don't teach all this stuff, so this is pretty crazy stuff. But if you really need to use it, you know it's here. So symbol, this is where you can go and you can input different symbols. You can always, if you don't like the ones that are here, you can go to more symbols. I know if I was going to type in a math problem, the division sign is going to be in this area. Right here, actually. So I know you can't find that on your keyboard. You have to insert certain symbols like that. All right, so the draw, this is one of the coolest tools ever, I think. This is a lot like any kind of interactive whiteboard software, but if you ever need to draw on something, this is what allows you to do that. So maybe I want to draw with this green pen, I would click that, and here's the thing with this particularly. If you're ever on an interactive whiteboard or you want to draw with your finger on a touch screen, you have to click draw with touch. So that's what I'm going to do, and as you see, I can now draw with my touch. There's an S-E-A-N, woohoo, yay, and I can draw anything I want with that. So I'm going to undo that because I don't want to keep that there. All right. And you have lots and lots of options by clicking this drop-down menu. You can go to any color you want, thickness, and otherwise. And you can choose the kind of pen mode you want. And that's just something you guys can play around with later as you get time. Take that to draw with touch. And here's your shape tool. You can insert different kinds of shapes if you want to. Here's the insert space again. Ink to math. This is a kind of an interesting thing. Ink to math is pretty cool because if you wanted to just do a math problem, it would insert the math problem as you wrote it. So if I want to do 2 times 2 equals 4, sometimes it does not read things correctly because it says 2 times theta equals 4. So you have to make sure that you write it correctly. So let's try this. 4 plus 4 equals 8. And there we go. And I click insert, and it inserts my little math problem down here. So it's just kind of a neat little nifty tool that you can use if you would like to. All right, that about covers it for the draw section. Okay, history section. I showed you this earlier. This is where you can go and find who has edited this document when. Particularly useful in the collaboration space area, because if some child accidentally deleted something they weren't supposed to, then you can always go back and you could fix it. So, like for instance, I click page versions. I could go back and I could edit. This says Mike Tholfsen did this on 11/30/2018 or 8/10/2017. I could go back to that version and fix it if I want to, or restore it to the way it originally was. That's a pretty cool tool that you can do with that. You can find by author. So if you want to find any of your kids' names, this is where you would go to search this notebook. You could type in any kid's name you have or your own name and figure out when it was last edited. That is what the history tab is for. The review tab, this is where you can do tools like spell check. You can do research by highlighting a word within a document. So if you typed in the word kangaroos and you highlighted it, you can click research and it would look up stuff about kangaroos for you. Thesaurus, this is where you find synonyms for words that you type in if you want to change the wording of something, just like in Word. Check accessibility. This has to do with people with disabilities, different tools for that. You could translate if you ever found a document that was in a different language. This would allow you to translate it to English or to translate even an English document to another language. This particular language tool is you could choose a language for proofing tools such as spell check. So if you had someone that spoke a different language, this is where you could do that. This feature, password feature, this is something you might want to use if you ever create different tabs in the collaboration space and you don't want all the students being able to access the same tab. You could password lock one tab if you want to put students in a group or something like that. You could only give those students that password for that tab. That way no one can mess with that tab except for those particular students. And then linked notes, that's something where you could link to different Word documents or PowerPoints later on if you had something that you felt really went with it. All right, that is the review tab. And then the view tab, this is where basically you can go into a full page view, just like that. You could, if you want to ever get out of that, you just click this arrow. It just allows you to do different zoomings. You could hide the title. You could put rule lines. You can zoom to 50%, 75%. You could open it in a new window. Whatever suits your fancy. All right, so the final section of Microsoft OneNote 2016 is the Learning Tools section. This is something that does not come default on Microsoft OneNote 2016. However, if you're on your personal computer at home, you can always do this as an add-in. This particular version of OneNote is actually not the newest version. If you notice on your Start menu, if you ever click Start right here and you scroll down to OneNote, you'll notice that you actually have another version of it. And it's the darker purple one with the white in, as opposed to the lighter purple kind of maroon in. This is what we're on right now. It's 2016. This one that just says OneNote is actually the newest version. It's the OneNote app. And I'm going to go over this one in more detail on the next workshop, but this one has all the learning tool features already built into it without having to download anything. And this is something you can also use now and start playing with. The tabs are a little bit different, but it's actually pretty cut and dry once you learn how to use this particular version. But the Learning Tools has a few cool features. So if you look at this, Immersive Reader is one of my favorites. It actually has a few things where it reads the text to you, and you can look at parts of speech and things like that. I'll show it to you in just a moment. Dictate allows you or the student to say words, and it does text to speech. Speech to text. When you say something, it puts the text on the screen. So that's pretty cool for those typers that aren't great at it. And again, it's not perfect because you have to speak extremely clearly. And if you don't speak clearly, then it's going to say something different than what you actually said, just like a cell phone. And then help and feedback, this is where you can go online to view help and feedback on what's created here. So let's just take a little quick look at Immersive Reader. If you click on that, it'll go to a large screen, and this screen is where it's going to start reading it to you. You click the play button, and
we've created a new website called http://
that's a little fast. So anytime it reads a little too fast for you like that, you can go here and slow it down. And so I'm going to click that, and I'm going to try this again. So I'm going to click at the beginning where I want to start, and I'm going to click play.
http://www.
As you can see, you probably want to go with a happy medium on that. So that's what that does. This part is where you can change the size of the text that you want read to you and things like that. And then this part I think is pretty cool. Some of the different things it does. is if you click syllables, it breaks up all the words by syllables. And this really helps with kids that are working on phonics and just how to pronounce words, created. And so that helps them be able to visualize why they're breaking it apart by syllables, can help with phonics. This does parts of speech, so all the nouns, if you click that, if you notice, are done in purple. So I want to unclick that to show that. Verbs are done in red, adjectives are done in green, and on the new OneNote, it also has one for adverbs. They're in gold. So I thought that was pretty cool. But whenever you want to get out of this mode, you just click the X and it takes you back to the screen you just saw. So that about covers all of your basic functions of OneNote 2016 and setting up your OneNote class notebook. If you have any further questions, please feel free to contact me by email. And next workshop, we'll focus more on the collaboration space, different ideas, how to set up password lock tabs. We're going to go over things like that. We're going to dive a little deeper into the other version of OneNote also. So I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you.